Person 39. So as I move into this heart center, my body actually becomes a ghost, and I usually open the door that kind of represents the entrance to my heart center. And this time I became transparent and just moved right through my heart center door. So that's never happened before. So I know this is your energy, and as I engage with my inner child, we usually pull down the divine white light and bathe ourselves in that before I move into the sacred space of the heart. And as we pull down the divine white light, the energy made me kind of run away from the light. So every time the light tried to spot down on me to pull it in, I ran away from it. So I know, again, this is your energy. So then I go to the door that represents the sacred space of the heart, move through, and as soon as I walk in, it's usually like a cave floor for me, and I engage with my feet to kind of ground my energy in this space. And as I look down, I'm standing on a tightrope, and I'm one foot over the other, like very carefully trying to walk through so I don't fall down into the abyss below. And so I then jump into the seat, which is where I pull down the colored energies. And as I do this, I pull down the root energy, and it doesn't even touch the body, and I get propelled out towards the rainbow road. So as soon as I land on the rainbow road, it's actually 7 cords, it's 7 more tight ropes, and they're the color corded energy. And so our energy kind of dances from the lilac of the crown all the way down to the root chakra cord. And so it's almost like a guitar, a guitar, all the strings on the guitar like dance down and hold on to the root chakra cord. And basically now it's like army crawling, like hand over hand. On the belly is on the cord, and the one foot is kind of wrapped around the back. So now I'm pulling myself forward, and this time really scared to fall, and so like grasping for dear life onto this root chakra energy. And so as we pull through and move towards the tunnel, or the next portal to take us to the next engagement, then as soon as you move through the portal, basically I feel this rush like we're going to fall down this huge waterfall. And so I get really, really scared, and it's black, and I just feel the water. And instead of falling like stories down into a waterfall, it's basically like 3 inches, a 3-inch drop. And so I'm terrified to fall down this waterfall, but then just get moved to like just jump a little bounce down, and so it becomes like a lazy river at a kid's water park. And so now floating in a black tunnel, and I feel very comfortable here, and it's like really relaxed and really enjoying just floating and immersing here in this water, but it's a black tunnel. So it was kind of a interesting juxtaposition to be in, and then coming to the next waterfall, and again it feels like this huge waterfall that we're going to fall down, and there's light now outside of the tunnel, and so you get terrified again, and it's just like heart beating, everything's pumping, and then it's another just tiny little drop. But this time now you're in the sunlight, and instead of being there comfortable, you like turn into a bat, like a vampire. So I assume you're not a vampire. So what this means to me is, again, scared of the light, or can't handle the light, or something about the light. And so as this gets acknowledged, then the visual changes, and now I see you walking on a path that's very like storybook. I get Little Red Riding Hood, like vibrant greens, and the path is brown, and I see this little cottage up ahead, and it's just like almost like a log cabin with the smoke rising from it. And it's interesting because it's beautiful, and it's like hyper colors, right? And it's almost, there's a sense of fear or unknown again. And as we get closer to this cottage, I get the sense that this is for you. This is grandma on dad's side. So I don't know what the energy is, if grandma's passed on your dad's side, or if this energy's just happened to take place in grandma's house on your dad's side, but there was something traumatic on dad's side, grandma. And so as we move through this house, it's like we're searching for grandma, but I feel like the big bad wolf is there, right? So now I'm getting bounced back to the very beginning with ghosts and avoidance of light, and it starts to piece together to me that something happened. I feel like you were born into this world, and I feel like you were born before 1983. And why that would be pertinent, because 1983 and on, the energy of the earth was so so high at a vibratory rate that kids born 1983 and on are very aware of like the different dimensions, and don't have as much fear, where before 1983, if you were born with sight, clairvoyance, or clairaudience, or any of these things, it was a little bit harder to deal with, and not seen as a gift, or for some maybe, but most people had to deal with it as a struggle. And so I feel like you were born before 1983, and you were born very clairvoyant, and so you had, and I feel like maybe something happened, and either it was grandma, I don't know if grandma on dad's side is deceased or not, but I feel like maybe you had an encounter, you saw her maybe in the fifth dimension, or in her house, or something happened, or there was fear, or I just feel this intense fear around grandma's house. And it's almost like I saw you scaling the walls and really scared to look around corners. And so I don't know if her house felt haunted at all, or if you reflect on that. But I feel like you had experiences in this house maybe that, or with grandma, that you were very aware of, and started to cloak yourself to protect yourself from the images that you were seeing, because I feel clairvoyance is something that was very powerful for you. And possibly even now, I'm not sure if you feel like you would be clairvoyant, or if you have this, but I feel like it's not looked at as a gift, and you might not even know what you're experiencing. So moving out the back door of grandma's house, then there's this big forest, and as you walk through, now I see you with this cape, and again I get very like storybook feelings, and you go through these trees, and the trees are apple trees, and you pick an apple, which to me apple is always wisdom and knowledge, and you take a bite of this apple, and basically pass out. So like you're paralyzed is what happens, and you're laying on the ground. And so light is wisdom, light is knowledge, and so apple is knowledge and wisdom. So I get that again, there's this paralyzing fear, and then the root chakra is all about fear and grounding. And so I get that there's fear, a lot of fear around what's happening through the light with you, or an encounter that you had that was a higher vibration than what you held and knew. And so this was scary and traumatic. And so as then we move through this visual, then walking through the forest, and I see like this huge, amazing castle at the end of the forest line. And as you walk through, it's like the path just keeps stretching and stretching, and you take one step and the path extends 1 mile. So it's like the more you seek out, in the castle is your Akashic record, so the more you seek out knowing and wisdom and that connection to the divine, I feel like the further away it moves from you. So I don't know if now in your life you're trying to reconnect to this, but I feel like there's a lot of work in the root chakra, and this fear that's unresolved that has to be helped or acknowledged before you can move forward and connect again into the divine, and into that kind of channel or that wisdom. And so then we move forward, and we get to the door of the castle, and as we move through, it's again these spotlights are beaming down, and you're scaling the walls, not wanting to touch the spotlight, and I see your toe get hit by one of these light beams, and as your toe enters it, it starts to burn up. And so again, it's this like fear of the light, or fear of the knowledge, or what lies within, or even fear of what was encountered when you hired your frequency, or when you had that clairvoyance, or the clarity and sight. And so as that's acknowledged again, then everything kind of reveals itself, and your Akashic records become visible. And I have to say, you have the largest, most opulent unbelievable Akashic records I've seen. Amazing. It was like a huge castle, and usually people that I haven't read before, I go in and there's only one room, and it will grow as I go in more and more, but yours had like 4 different rooms, and I could feel and see and sense into these rooms. So as I moved up and walked, like you had this like bridge air in the air, like this bridge walkway going from one area to another, so I move up there just because it looks cool, and I call down your higher self and ask your higher self what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time. And your higher self basically tells me that you have the gift of clairvoyance and clear sight, but that you've cloaked yourself because of the encounters and the fear that you hold over what you see within the higher dimensions. And I'm getting more like the 5th dimension. Like I get that you actually can see 5th dimensional beings, which are beings that haven't transitioned to the 6th dimension, or quote unquote heaven, and you see these trapped beings here in the 5th dimension that still kind of roam our earth. And so I'm not sure if this is something you know and you've dealt with, or if you don't know. And so the fact that they say it's cloaked, I get that something happened and you protected yourself, and you blocked the sense of sight because it was fearful or scary to you at a specific point. And so what they said is basically that you have a very strong gift of sight, and in order to connect yourself into this gift, you have to establish or remove basically the fear in the root chakra, and you have to establish your connection here on earth. And so I asked, how is this person supposed to do this? And they said that basically you have to make yourself heavy in the physical world. So I get, because you are so developed and you came into this world with a very overly developed third eye chakra, or very highly functioning third eye chakra, you get basically just in your day, you are so in your mental body. You're getting hits all the time. Your field is very kind of intermixed with other people's fields, so you're constantly, I almost get like what is it, like almost like a psychosis, but in a good way, if that makes sense. So it's like you are so tapped into your mental channel that your head is just constantly thinking and concocting and reviewing, and you're getting hits, and I don't know how developed you are in this, but you're getting hits of other people and their mental activity, and it all sounds like our own brain working. So whether you've done work in this area or not, when we're in other people's mental fields, it sounds like our brain, but we're picking up on other people's mental fields because our mental body is just so ramped up. And so they told me that you're actually doing a lot in the physical world to try and establish this connection, like maybe working out or whatever it is, but they said that you need to detach more from the mental field and really establish your physical presence in the world, which is allowing yourself to be 100% connected, while you're working out or while you're walking, to breathe and focus on the breath and try not to be connected into that mental world. You have to reestablish the physical connection and be comfortable in the physical connection. And by doing that, then you will allow yourself to connect the channel more fully, so that when you bring down the light, there's no fear within what's brought down through the light, because then it's complete wisdom, and it'll feel connected in a good and solid way in your body, and you won't fear what you receive. So I hope this helps with light and love.